men, what is something a woman would never understand? Wife: hey, hun, did you just get back from hanging out with Kyle? Husband: yep, we went on the lake for a few hours in his boat. Doesn't he have a new girlfriend? I think so. You didn't ask about her. Nah. Is his sister getting the divorce? No idea. What the hell did y'all talk about? I dunno. Stuff. Actual conversation with my wife some 20 years ago after I visited a friend. Wife: what did you talk about? Me: he bought a rocking chair from Babies R Us. Wife freaking out: OMG, is his wife pregnant? Me: I don't know. Wife: he told you he bought a rocking chair from Babies R Us and you didn't ask if they are pregnant? Me: no. And the other side of the conversation went like this. Wife: so how did it go tonight? Husband: okay, I guess. Wife: what did you talk about? Husband: I told him I bought a rocking chair from Babies R Us. Wife: OMG, you told him we are pregnant? I specifically told you not to mention it. Husband: I didn't. I told him I bought a rocking chair from Babies R Us. I laughed way too hard at this. Wife: how was your hour-long phone call with your friend from high school? Me: great. It's always good to catch up. Wife: how are his wife and daughter? Me: I don't know. They didn't come up. I'm sure they're fine, or else he would have mentioned it. Wife: what the hell did you talk about for over an hour? Me: the current state of Star Wars, the MCU vs comics, the concept of taking initiative out of tabletop RPGs, and how that would work, because, you know, he was Army Special Forces, and he wants combat to be more realistic. Other cool stuff. Wife: you guys are in your 40s. Me: yeah, we are pretty rad. When I take my toddler to the playground without my wife, I too would like to chat with the other adults. I feel like I'm barely even tolerated being around their children to make sure mine's okay and having good fun. Ducking: we can talk about cooking. Dakers: just ducking, talk to me. I am not even wearing a trench coat and you don't know my Reddit name. Mayo made me look. Common ladies: he's frugal, not aggressive. Edit: come on, you can choose. Having a boner touch the toilet seat. Touching the inside of the bowl is a real nightmare. AHH, the witch's kiss. Well, looky here, Mr. Magnum Dung has arrived in the chat. The mystery of Stonehenge. Don't tell em, bro. They won't understand anyway. How sensitive testicles can be. Sure, you sack-tapped me last weekend and I didn't feel a thing, but when you grazed me 2 seconds ago you hit just the right spot and brought me to the floor. It just happens. Old roomie got a puppy when I was living with her. Cute little corgo, but hyper. Came at me full force as I walked through the door after work and basically headbutted me in the sack. I went down, she jiggle shit herself, and corgo just stood there waiting for me to rattle him. It would have been a funny scene as a fly on the wall, but all I knew in that moment was pain. Trying to pee with an erection. Close ain't I ever got to practicing yoga. The harder it gets, the harder it gets. Having a boner but not horny. And then when you get older it's being horny without boners. That when two men hang out it's completely normal to not talk about important stuff or at all. I once worked with a guy for 3 years and never learned his name. Best friend I ever had. We still never talk sometimes. My grandfather taught me how to fish when I was 5. I'm now over 30 and we still fish all the time. However, every single time we get back my grandma will ask what we talked about, and my answer is always nothing. It's almost a running joke in my family to figure out what we talk about, and they don't understand that we literally don't talk about anything, we just fish. Also, I'm a woman and I would absolutely talk if grandpa wanted to, but I think he just enjoys the quiet, so that's what we do. Pinch and roll to cure sackage. With the hand in the pocket too for extra stealth points. You think you're being stealthy, but we can tell what you're doing with your hand in your pocket. The Luang step on a humid day. Lunge skleep. The Fremen sand walk. Sometimes it just won't get up, and it's not you. Our silence has nothing to do with you. Most of the time we are just trying to figure stuff out. One time my GF thought I was mad cause I was quiet and asked what I was thinking about, and I was like Taco Bell cheese roll-ups. Lol, a few weeks ago my girlfriend and I were lying in bed and she said, I was just thinking about how much I love you and cherish our relationship, and I said, oh cool, I was just thinking about Red and Dirty by Jamillionaire. Luckily she thought it was funny. Sometimes I just don't feel like talking. Nothing personal, I enjoy company, just not up for idle conversation. No matter how many times you shake it, you never get it all. You can shake it, you can squeeze it, you can bang it on the wall, but you have to put it in your pants before the last drop will fall. Mine was, you can shake it, you can squeeze it, you can do a little dance, but the last 3 drops always end up in your pants. What you thinking about? Me wondering if Tarzan was a virgin when he met Jane, or if he used to be gorilla cheeks. Nothing. Edit. Thanks for the awards, guys. Cleaning debris from the toilet bowl with your piss stream. And getting really disappointed when it doesn't wash off. People being afraid of me because I'm a big guy. I can give off an intimidating aura, so if I'm walking behind a woman, she is often looking over her shoulder every now and then. I try to make a show of tying my shoe or slowing down so she gets some more distance. Sometimes I'll cross the road. I know why they are afraid of me, and I don't blame them in the slightest. It just hurts sometimes is all. As a big guy, the flip side is I've had several women over the years tell me they always feel protected when I'm around. 5 urinals in a line are only 3 urinals. 2 if someone is a jerk and uses one of the even numbers. So I'm walking by a park and I hear and see children laughing, playing. Maybe I stop and glance briefly and smile, remembering my own childhood. Kid falls chasing a ball in front of me. Young girl. I offer a hand to help her up. Have a woman screaming "That's not your child" at me. A scene starts of parents turning or glaring at me. I'm in my work clothes. A postal worker, not a raggedy street bum type, but even still, I can't help a child up without risking anything. I remember adults, when I was a kid, treating me well, holding a door open for me to walk through. As a man with a beard, you treat a lone child as a human. You get death glares. If a guy so much as glances wrong at a child, I might as well have my free candy van park the corner over. This reminds me of a time I took my eldest daughter to a trampoline/indoor climbing park that had this elaborate monkey gym within its huge warehouse. I was heavily pregnant with my son at the time and couldn't climb through tunnels and play with her like I otherwise would have. She was 3 at the time. This young father was there on his own with his 2-year-old son, playing with him like I used to with my daughter. I was sitting on a bench and trying to watch my daughter through the net as best as I could with all the commotion and dozens of kids. This dad and his son reached the top of the climber, just as my daughter had. She patiently waited for him to seat himself on the huge slide, and as he placed his son on his lap, my daughter took it upon herself to seat herself on his lap as well, to go down the slide with him, like I would have with her. I'll never forget the way this poor man froze in panic, hands high up in the air as he nervously glanced every which way in genuine fear, not knowing what to do. It's like I could feel his panicked thoughts of how to handle the situation. Do I tell her no, to please get off my lap in a way that doesn't make her feel hurt, rejected and cry? Am I going to be accused of doing something inappropriate? What do I do? As quickly as I could, I stood up from the bench and called up to him. "That's my daughter. I'm so sorry. If you're comfortable with taking her down the slide with you and your son, I'm comfortable with it too. If you'd rather not, it's okay and I'll tell her to wait her turn. It's okay and I understand." The relief on his face was substantial. He even asked if I was sure, as I confirmed, pointing to my belly and saying, "I appreciate you for being patient with my daughter and allowing her to play with you both while I can't." And he was awesome. He wore my daughter and his son out with his antics. I thanked him profusely as we were leaving, and it always struck me how guilty I felt when he said, "No, thank you for understanding. It was fun and your daughter was so sweet with my son." This was several years ago, and I still remember that sheer look of panic on his face. As a former child of sexual abuse, it makes me so sad because, while I understand and empathize with the abundance of caution to a degree, I also know that there are far more men out there who are good, kind and willing to be a part of that village we so desperately need for our children. Anyway, thank you for trying to help, to set an example, and being willing to put yourself out there in a world of hypervigilance and fear of stranger danger. There are some of us who appreciate the effort. I'm sorry that your encounter with an irrationally scared person made you feel so bad. Thanks for sharing your story. If I had an award, I'd give it to you for normalizing just being a goddamn human. This should be the standard, not the one where the dad panics in fear of being made a creep. The panic immediately after your first ejaculation. I didn't know what happened, but I knew it was a crime. I thought for a few minutes my dick was broken or something. My mom was an army medic, so I was familiar with the concept of pus and infection was. So when I woke up in the middle of the night with a whitish substance common out my peen, well, you can do the math. It's probably a pretty similar panic to just waking up bleeding one morning, lol. Autographing snow. I yelled at my husband for repeatedly peeing his name in the snow in our backyard, so he peed my name. So it looked like I did it. Dude's a full release male. How incredibly lonely men can be. For some crazy reason, society tries to discourage male bonding, yet men have just as much of a need for close relationships as women do. The subtle but annoying aggravation of going to piss in a bathroom that you live in and clean, and going to piss, but your stream decides that instead of going where you want to, it fires radically northeast for the first second. Edit, any just sit down comment doesn't understand. They'll never understand sometimes it comes out like a shotgun, and not a sniper. Shrinkage. I was in the pool. Balls basically just sticky hand to your leg on a hot day, like a fried egg nailed to the wall. Our breasts stick to our skin too. Boob sweat smells like mayo on those hot days. That's enough Reddit for one day. The absolute real ability to actually not be thinking about anything at all. I always have to come up with some made up thought. How much we literally just don't care sometimes. I don't care what color the couch is. I don't care where the cabinet sits in the room. You're gonna make me move it regardless. Don't ask me where I want it cause I don't want to move it in the first place. Just tell me where, and I'll put it there for ya. Edit. Who? That was way more popular than I thought it would be. Thanks everyone. So it isn't like a I don't give a shit, don't ask me kinda deal. Far from it, it's more that it just literally doesn't matter to us. If the partner wants something done, I'm there to support her all the way and do my best to help out and give an opinion where necessary, but sometimes it just really doesn't matter to us and it can be hard to express that otherwise. Do whatever it is however you want and we'll generally be okay with anything as long as the couch isn't facing the wrong way from the TV. And that it's not a passive aggressive I don't care. Frequently, no matter how smart, guys are simple in their evaluation and frankly prefer if someone else decides something needs to be done, so we can do it. Ducking this, lol. I don't care what the new rug looks like, because I don't even want a rug. I don't care where it goes, put it wherever, and it won't bother me. I want you to choose the rug that you're buying. Buy the rug you like, and put it where you want. I don't care lol. To be fair, I think she just wants me to be excited for her new rug, so I will try to hype up whatever she suggests, because her happiness is my happiness, but I ultimately don't care what the rug looks like, I care that she's happy with her purchase. The frustration is generally being the chasers. Do men generally like being approached? I've got a crush on someone, I wanna ask for his number, but I feel like I'm being such a bother. Yes, a million times yes. Oh my god, it would save us so much mental work. Does she like me? Does she not? Please just do it. It'll save both you and him a lot of time. Even if he says no, you were bold and got an answer. No bother at all. Actually the complete opposite. Good luck hun. Feel free to circle back to tell me / us how it went. For me, I mentally can't chase anymore. Got treated like I was scum once too often. Now I can't do it anymore, so all of my partners as an adult approached me first. You can feel emotionally vulnerable, but no one takes you seriously because you're a man. When I see women telling someone to man up, it makes me so angry. This drives me insane. I'm doing my best to raise my son. That feeling sad and vulnerable is completely normal for people, not just girls. He was having a really emotional day at school, so I pulled him out the rest of the day. He said he just felt like crying and didn't know why and couldn't stop it. I told him it's fine, all teenagers go through this, and to just cry it out. He said boys aren't supposed to be emotional, only girls. I corrected him and said everyone can feel emotional and it's perfectly normal and human to need to cry. I wish people would stop telling their sons that crying is for girls only and let these boys feel so they can grow into emotionally healthy men. How starved men are for any sort of physical touch or genuine compliment. This is why I started telling all my coworkers, regardless how nice they looked when running into the kitchen, it was light-hearted, but there were always smiles on faces. Especially when younger, random boners. It's not always easy for us to express our emotions, because when we do, no one helps us anyway. Most of time, you're seen as weak, or even worse as mentally unstable. Cry at work as guy and you'll never outlive it. That we have no control over what we do in a woman's dream and they should not get mad at us for what we did. The amount of discrimination male DV survivors face. I'm a male DV survivor and I'm very open about my story, and I've met a lot of other dudes who are the same and were too afraid to come forward publicly due to the backlash they'd get, and it's real. Funnily enough, it's mostly women who criticize us, usually saying things like you're supposed to be a man, just take it, she's a woman, what could she do to hurt you, you let her abuse you, you could have stopped her, you're stronger and bigger. There's a lot of female abusers out there, I'd argue just as many as males. I don't think men are any more to blame for the abuse they suffered than women are, which is not anyone's fault but the abusers. But apparently a large portion of women think differently, and there's men who have criticized me too in similar ways, for sure, but they are heavily outnumbered by the women, in my experience. We get shamed into silence, threatened into silence, blackmailed into silence. I decided to be a champion of this cause, because no one else is. I wear the target on my back for a reason. I think this is what I was meant to do. The bruises may go away quickly, but the mental scars don't. For those of you who were abused, or are being abused, or will be abused, regardless of gender, stay strong, and get out of that situation as soon as possible. Edit. Thank you all for the support and interesting conversations. Edit 2. I'm so happy that this grew as quickly as it did, and it's become a space for many people to tell their stories. I know how hard it can get sometimes to have those memories and thoughts weighing you down, and how relieving it is to finally tell them, even if anonymously on a forum post. Domestic violence is something that too many people experience far too often. It's sad, it's demoralizing, it's dehumanizing, and it's crushing. But at the end of the day, none of us are alone. There are tons and tons of people out there with stories just like yours and mine. Stay strong, everyone, and never stop working towards being a better you and a better tomorrow. I'm a forensic nurse. I had a patient who came in after his ex hit him with her car. She had gang connections too. I was the nurse at the time and texted him about the forensic exam. He agreed, and I called in the forensic nurse on duty. I could have done it, but I was staffing her, and we were busy. She was someone I had trained. When she called to report it and get info for the exam, the cop that came refused to take a report. She was new and wasn't sure how to handle that. I went off on him. I called dispatch and asked for a supervisor to come. The supervisor did and made that other cop stay and watch. Broke my heart for him, but glad he witnessed someone believing in him. That when you say happy wife happy life, it makes every guy in the room cringe at how unfortunate your husband must be. I've heard lots of men say this too. It makes women cringe too. 2 words. Double stream. Edit. Had no idea this was not only a male anatomy thing. Glad to know we are more similar than I thought before. 3 words. Triple stream. Wait, no, FCK. Sometimes I want to hold my balls when I'm relaxing. I'm not going to masturbate right in front of you. Okay, this one was actually useful. Also, don't look at me weird when I touch and squeeze my braless boobs. I do it for exact same reasons. Rubbing your face and balls with the same towel. You dry face first, balls last. The towel forgets everything by tomorrow. A redditor I forgot the username of. I thought everyone does that. Most women don't. How it's 50/50 if you want some fun with your morning boner or just have to go and pee. It's not even close to 50/50. I'd say 95% of my morning wood goes away without jerking it. How long compliments stick with us. We remember forever because we rarely get them. How scared we are when we ask you out. They don't grasp how I can get hard so quick. Always like, oh my god, you're hard already. Listen lady, I know what I want. It's like my stomach growling when I'm hungry. That's my secret, Captain. I'm always horny. Being profiled while around children. Just grab one and run, then it's no longer profiling. Why when we are old we still act like we are 5. It's fun to do dumb shit. I try to be a reasonable person all around, but I just gotta do dumb shit every once in a while to release all the owned up dumbassery. The most hurtful and emasculating comments of my entire life 59 years were made by my mom and grandma, her mom, after my parents divorced in 1981. Certainly, 40 years later, I have forgiven them both, but no man ever made such horrible comments about me ever. Women, especially role models I always looked up to, just destroyed my ability to trust women for years. Edit. Thanks for giving me a forum for saying something buried deep in my soul for 40 years. I truly believed it was a take it to the grave scenario. Edit number 2. I was called worthless and weak and would become a loser, just like my father. I had struggled with lifelong depression and had attempted suicide prior to my parents' divorce. It was due to their tag team that I began therapy with a shrink. After a year, my repressed memories surfaced. When I was 8 years old, my aunt began sexually abusing me. Where do you trust women when you are involved in this situation and love female relatives, yet are physically and mentally abused? My entire family was full of alcoholic, abusive men. I had 0 male role models. This is why I have serious trust issues and low self-esteem. I had several DM asking for the real nitty gritty, otherwise I wouldn't have gone to this length for this sub. Things moms say can cut to the bone and hurt for years. I'm glad you've forgiven and moved on. Whatever they said, they were referring to someone else that they were angry at, not you. It absolutely is not true for you. The rules that Douglas Adams, the author of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, applied about life and dealing with technology applies to us men, and he quote, "I've come up with a set of rules that describe our reactions to technologies. 1. Anything that is in the world when you're born is normal and ordinary and is just a natural part of the way the world works. 2. Anything that's invented between when you're 15 and 35 is new and exciting and revolutionary and you can probably get a career in it. 3. Anything invented after you're 35 is against the natural order of things." That seems more like a general human thing. Great cow, but women can relate to that as well. That no means no for both genders. Divorce usually means only getting to see your kids every other weekend, no matter how great of a father you are, only because that's just the way it is. In my experience, none of the women I've dated really understood how beautiful they are always. For instance, when lounging around the house in comfy clothes with their hair up or messy, they are still gorgeous. Conversely, I don't think they realize that we share the same insecurities about our appearances, and sometimes we need reassurance too. Urinal math. 1,3,5. 5,1,3, stall. Sometimes when a guy is interested in you, it's not because he wants to just get in your pants. Maybe he actually likes you. Shocker, I know. Conversely, if a guy doesn't like you, it is not always because there's another girl or there's something wrong with him. He may have opted to sort his life out first before participating in the clown show that is modern dating. Not a man, but I'm a sexual assault nurse examiner. I had a trans male who was assaulted and very timid. I was speaking with him to try and build trust, and we started talking about his transition and how long he had been on hormones. Yeah, when I started taking tea, it was weird. My mind would just be blank sometimes. Me, wait, you're telling me when guys say they're not thinking of anything, they actually cannot think of anything? Yeah. He didn't have any reason to lie to me and had experienced the world in both views, so I believed it. As a man, yes, we can just sit there and think of nothing. Will men cry? That I would gladly jump out of a moving vehicle just to not argue with you. The just overwhelming cavernous abyss of loneliness that we experience daily, the inability to thoroughly express emotion expansively and comfortably around other men without facing judgment. The casual discrimination. I had to call the emergency services on a GF before who was threatening suicide. She said she would tell them I was harming her if I did, but for her safety I did anyways. When they arrived with her crying on the floor, they treated me as if I just beat the crap out of her and abused her and gave me a mini interrogation on what happened. She had abused me in numerous ways over years and just really sucks to feel vilified no matter what. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to my channel for more curated daily Reddit stories.